Welcome everybody, welcome to the Tomb of Illumination. This video's in regards to a few things. Mainly, I have to repeat myself. There's the flat earthers out there wondering why the shadow goes in the opposite direction to the sun. The shadow goes east instead of going west with all the other celestial bodies. It's been on the internet, been on YouTube for more than 4 years. Then you have to go and look at my site. Why is no one sharing my site? Why is no one understanding it? It's not that bad. It's not that hard to understand. I draw all the pretty pictures for everyone to understand. So why is no one sharing it? Why are they always coming back to me? Just go search out my videos. So a few things today. One was someone's all these ridiculous sites on YouTube and people are following them. Stationary sun in March and September. Well, that's true because I've spoken about that a lot of times, haven't I? It's not the equinox. We think it's the equinox. It's prior to the equinox, when the sun is crossing in the analemma. That is when everything is sitting dead level. So I've got the 6th of September and maybe thereabouts in March, where the sun does not move in declination. Okay? Possibly not the moon either, but I haven't looked into that yet. So you've got we've got the 5 holy days, right? We've spoken about that before. 5 holy days in a year. There's only 5 holy days. So you can consider those 5 holy days is when the moon can give birth, right? Spiritual birth. Any one of those 5 days is a celestial alignment when man on earth can gain his second birth, his spiritual awakening. And it's to do with the solar eclipses. And in particular, well, the most divine one is this time of the year when the sun crosses its analemma. The sun will be not moving in declination into either hemisphere for the seasonal change for 2.5 days on each side. Okay? That's that out of the way. Now, it's understanding the shadowing, okay? So let's go back a bit here. I'll put this up on the board. Let's see what I'm doing. Do this side to start with, okay? So here we have the sun's analemma. Okay? We have the northern hemisphere, we have the southern hemisphere. Star rotations, okay? Star rotations, if you know anything about time lapse or star trail photography, okay? Bit oblong. For the southern hemisphere, and you have one in the northern hemisphere. That's how it works, okay? Now this special gap between here, okay, always represents Pisces. Just look at it. This is the most divine story in religion. Pisces symbol, isn't it? Like that, like that. It's that zone in there, okay? If you want to understand more of that, you're going to have to buy that initial floodgates video of mine, because we're expanding on that, and if you don't know the foundation, you'll find it hard to understand all this stuff. Okay, so you've got to understand the two separate rotations. So it's understanding these 2 rotations to start to understand why one solar eclipse goes this way and the other one goes that way. Okay? This magic zone always represents Pisces. Okay? Solar eclipse cross. The solar eclipse cross. This way and this way. Now, why do we get these 2 different crossings? We are going to run over that. So let's go back a little bit to Christianity, why they have the cross. Why the cross? Why the cross? Because the whole book is about physics, okay? You need to understand the physics of Earth, the flat Earth system, to understand religion. But most people are just blind and they just follow like blind mice. Go to their churches and listen to whatever they rabble off, literally out of the book, and the preachers and his personal interpretation, no doubt. Well, here we have the ecliptic plane, okay? The ecliptic plane. And how often have we seen the snake in here? Or the snake like that? Plenty of times. Because that's representing the 3D projection from the 2D plane. Okay? That is our realm. We're from in here. Okay? It's a magical place because it doesn't really exist. It's all in here. How do I explain that to people? Why does it stick up like this? Why does it stick up like that? I'll show you why it sticks up like that. It sticks up like that because the ecliptic plane goes like this. I'm walking around the front yard. It's my tenant. The ecliptic plane flaps like this because this 2D plane here is the ecliptic plane. Up and down. Okay? This is up for the northern hemisphere. So above this point is the northern hemisphere. Northern hemisphere. Season, summer. Okay? And below here, put that arrow that way. Below here is the southern hemisphere. Summer. Okay? So there's all these different factors, different representations to understand within our dual existence. There's lots of dualities. One there, 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 there. It's everywhere. Northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere. Now, I've drawn this plenty of times too. What is this? No, it's not the blob or a big turd. That represents the magnetic flux of a yearly cycle of our flat Earth. So good at that. There's the equator, say. Pops up here to the, it's a one-eyed monster, up to the north, and pops out here to the south. Now, has anybody seen anything like that in ancient Egypt? This sort of symbol anywhere? Now you know what it means. So, the sun, the flux of the earth will pop out and it will illuminate the southern hemisphere. Okay? All these points here are represented. Well, I have to draw that picture, don't I? Rub this off. You've got a grasp of that one. Everybody should have drawn one of these by now to understand their flat earth system. Because if you don't draw it and get familiar with it, you'll never understand. It's even smaller than that. in this ratio, that's the northern hemisphere, way in there like that. Okay? There's the tropical zone around here. So it comes out of here. So let's draw, we could say these are the moon cycles. So in there is the 2D ecliptic plane. That's the initial, original plan. Okay? But then it's projected out to the south. So it's expanded out in the toroidal field. So everything in here is mirrored out to the south. Okay? So it's in a direct line, center north to south. 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 All those are paired up, right? So now we go, could go like this actually. This is what's happening. Okay? Now, I'm going to have to make a blown up image of the northern hemisphere, otherwise you won't see what I'm doing. So that's the northern hemisphere. It's that one in there blown up. You can feel it like this. So, everything comes out of the north. The celestial bodies, we see them come from the east, but they're actually coming out of the north, but they come around into our arc of horizon. So we see them coming from the east. Right? There's your west. So if you're in the northern hemisphere, imagine the southern hemisphere is all around, but let's just concentrate on north and east, east and west at the moment. So everything will come out of the west. So let's just say that's the moon cycle. Now we'll just draw the sun cycle. But you've got to realise it's only the sun and planets up on this 2D plane. The moon cycle and all the stars are down in here. But you can bring it all back up, bringing it up. So you've got to understand that during a solar eclipse, here's the sun. The sun is anywhere along here at this exact time of the day. Anybody from there to there will see it, an image of the sun, anywhere on this magnetic field line. Then you've got to realise this to imagine this is the moon. Now this is a toroidal field. It's a wave. It's a magnetic wave. It's just a wave and it's flowing. Well, the sun is moving around and the sun's quicker. So it's going to come over, pass over the moon, right? So if it passes over the moon, what's going to happen? It's going to cast a shadow just down like that, right? So that'll be that one. See that curve, and it's flowing this way? So let's say the sun races over it, because the sun races past it because it's quicker than the moon. So you get the sun here and the moon there. There's the shadow going this way as the whole thing is moving like that. Right? Draw that up. The whole world's been fooled thinking it's the equinox, not the equinox. Well, that's included. Hang on. Equinox. Yeah, not March. We're April now. April, yeah. After that. That's a divine period of a complete balance. But everything's pretty close to level here, you see. There's just this little bit of flex here, between there and there. Is when we're going to have the connection between the planets Venus and Mercury, or Mercury and Venus. Okay? Yeah. Now, if we're going to confuse you again, these planets aren't in this 3D realm like this. They're not flexing down like this. It's this plane. So you've got to, the plane's going up and down. So you've got to realise the 3D system is below it. Okay? Flexing below it. But there's several movements, because you've got the flexing of the monthly cycle, flexing of the yearly cycle, and you've got the daily thing going on. But let's not go too deep into that. That's probably why people can't understand flat earth and they think it's all a joke. Because it is rather complicated. So, got that shadowing? So what happens, like this is the northern hemisphere, like I say, but in the southern hemisphere, the magnetic field is popped out. So all these here, all these represent this here, around here. Okay? So in actual fact, it's lit up all the way around. It just hasn't gone right out. It's working its way down. It's right out at the solstice, the December solstice. That's why you've got a permanent light. It doesn't go below the horizon, the sun, when it's right out there. As it starts coming back in, it starts disappearing below the horizon. So the magnetic field's popped out. It's popped out in the southern hemisphere, or it pops up in the northern hemisphere. Well, this solar eclipse here, on the 8th of April, it's popped into the northern hemisphere. It's up here, okay? So that's when you go back to this sun analemma. The sun is moving up here, okay? The other 2007, this one here, 17, it was coming down here. See? I mean, there's a frickin' motion there to start with, isn't there? It was pretty much related to that. So, and the other way to look at it is follow this. So you put the sun on here. And there's another part to the story where everything's mirrored, but this is just one way of thinking about it. It's the same thing. This pen's a bit funny. And everything comes out of here because it's the same as the north. It's just mirrored straight out there on a meridian. That is a meridian from north to south. Every man will see an image, and that will be his line of the image on a meridian. They're all over the place. They're infinite. So obviously the moon comes out of here too, in this ecliptic plane, in this sort of setup. So let's just draw the moon over here. There's the moon all the way around there, say. Well, when the sun, when this wave, because all the wave moving around, moves over the moon here, what happens? Okay? What happens? It starts going this way. You get the shadow going like that. Okay?